Let me get started here. My name is Rafiq Wayani, and here we're going to be discussing Java. And I'm really not going to get knee-deep in Java. I'm just using it as an example. I'm going to be providing you with information you need to get going with programming. I'm going to show you what you need to get going developing Java-based applications. And this is going to be a beginner's course, okay? Keep that in mind. This will be a beginner's course. So my objective here is to use Java as a tool to introduce you to, well, programming, not to turn you into experts into a couple of hours, but rather have you have a better understanding of the components that make up application development, at least at an introductory level. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to be giving you a little bit of an overview and the software requirements so that you can do what I'm doing whenever you like. And then I'm going to spend the remainder of the first hour and providing you with Java demonstrations and explaining everything that I'm doing. And I'm going to take a short break after the first hour is over. And in the second hour, I'll do more demonstrations. And then the last few minutes, I'm going to be giving you guys to do some Q&A sessions. So that's really the agenda. The majority of what we will be doing is going to be associated with live demonstrations, really, on how Java works. So without further ado, as they say, here is what I'm going to show you first. The very first thing you need to know is where you can get Java from. Now, Java can be downloaded. Now, Java is part of Oracle. Let me show you. If you go to oracle.com tech network Java index HTML, like that, you're going to get right to the page that allows you to say, allows you to download the Java thing. And if you look right here, it says software downloads. And you see Java SE. Okay. Or the Enterprise Edition, Standard Edition, Enterprise Edition. There's a J Developer. There's a whole bunch of other things. I'm going to select Java SE. And when I select Java SE, see here. When I select Java SE, I'm able to get to that page. So I went to the Oracle Tech Network Java SE download site. And this right here where it says Java Platform 8, JDK. JDK stands for Java Development Kit. Java Development Kit is really what allows me to begin development using Java. And I have this downloaded and installed on my machine. Now, the interesting thing is Java is a portable language, which means that when you select, I just clicked on Java SE Kit, I accept the license, and right over here, take a look, I have the Linux platform, the Mac OS X platform, the Solaris platform, and the Windows platform that I can use to download the specific libraries that I need to download Java. Right? So depending on what operating system I'm using, I download the appropriate Java component, the Java library, and I'm able to begin coding. Java is a portable language, which basically means that no matter what operating system you write your code in, Java, your code will work perfectly fine when you move it. The exact same piece of code without changing will work perfectly fine in Windows and Solaris and Mac and Linux without any trouble. Solaris, for those of you that don't know, is Unix. Okay? And Linux is, well, Linux, general Linux. So this is where I downloaded the Java Developer Kit, and I installed it. Now, once you install the Java Developer Kit, what you actually have to do, and let me show you this, let me show this to you. I placed it in the installs. Here's JDK 8 Windows. This is what I downloaded. And when I installed it, it by default placed it in the program files, Java, JDK 1.8.0. Now, JRE stands for Java Runtime Engine. That's not what I installed. Java Runtime Engine 8 was installed. 7 came with this version of Windows. It happens to be Windows 8. And then JDK 1.8.0 is really where, and inside of bin, is where all the libraries are that I need to work with Java. So there's something interesting I need to do in Windows. I need to make this folder in my path, in my environment variable. This is rather important because and I'll tell you what I need to do here. If you go to your control panel, System in Windows, and you go to Advanced System Settings, and in Advanced System Settings, when you select Environment Variables, there is this environment variable called Path right here. This Path environment variable needs to contain, at the end of it, I'm going to place the location of my Java Java JDK bin. Okay. This path right here, C program files Java JDK 180 bin, I'm going to place in the environment var so that I can access the Java libraries. Okay. So right here, I'm going to do C, in my case, program files, Java, JDK 180 / bin. If I take a look over here, it's C, program files with a space, Java, JDK 1.8.0, and bin. There it is right there. And I do a semicolon at the end. I click OK. I click OK. And I click OK again. And hopefully my environment variable was saved. Now, how do I verify that? Well, I'm going to go to the command prompt. I'm going to open up a command prompt in Windows, and I'm going to specify path. And in path, if I take a look at this path, you know it's a long list. But if I take a look down here, here's a C program files Java JDK 1.8.0 bin. How do I know if this works? This is a search path. I'm not concerned about all these others that are already in there. I am concerned about this last piece that I inserted. So if I type a Java application, which is right here, there's Java and Java C. Those are the two that we will be working with. And notice they're both applications, and they're both located in the JDK 1.8 bin folder. And I am in the root of the C drive. Okay. I am not in the program files Java JDK 1.8.0 bin folder. Since I'm in the root of the C drive, if I type in the command Java, notice how it gives me, it runs the Java library right here. It didn't give me an error telling me that it could not find this application. That tells me that my environment variable in my path worked. Let me put in something that doesn't exist. I'm going to type in Java X. See it? If it returned me this message, is not a recognized internal or external command, that would mean that my path that I placed in didn't work. Okay, so my path is working, and let me type in Java C while I'm at it. Java C is a Java compiler right here. And I press enter. And there it is. It executes it, right, giving me the options and the ability to compile. It did not tell me that it's not a recognized command. Okay. So that's how I know that my path is working. There's also something else I need, to get this thing going. And that is, I have to write code. Shocking, right? I have to write code. Now, writing code is, it may seem rather complex, if you will, if you've never done it before. But I'm going to try and make this as easy for you as humanly possible. The very first piece of code that most developers write or learn to write in any language is the HelloWorld program, if you will. HelloWorld will be a very basic piece of code that I'm going to write, and I'm going to show you how to write it and how to have Java run it. And I'm also going to show you what it means. So I'm going to create a new text document. Maybe I'm going to create a new folder in here. New folder. More code. Okay. I'm going to create a new text document. Call it HelloWorld.java. Now, all Java programs have to end or have the extension of Java, J-A-V-A. Also, the name of the file in Java code, in Java application, in Java code, Java programming, has to start with a capital letter. It doesn't have to have multiple capital letters, but it has to start with a capital letter. It can't be a number. You don't want spaces either. Okay? You don't want spaces. You don't want to say hello space world. Okay? Don't do that. Also, don't do this. Don't put in a hyphen. Bad idea. Because these are some of the things that are reserved words in language and syntax. You can put in hello underscore world. That won't hurt much, but it's best if you just write it out like this. And this is known as camel casing, where you capitalize every word that you're trying to write out instead of putting in a space or an underscore or a hyphen. You just capitalized every word. So this is HelloWorld.java, and it has to have the Java extension. Now I'm going to edit this file. It's Notepad. Okay. So I'm going to edit this file right here, and I need to do something. Notice it's all empty. And this is nothing but Notepad in the very simplest of forms. Notepad, everybody has it. There's nothing special about it. The first thing I need to do is I need to type public class hello world. Every Java application that you create is going to be its own class. Yes, there are kind of exceptions to the rule, but I'm not going to get into them right now. My objective here is to introduce you to Java in the simplest of form. This hello world right here has to match that hello world that I have that I've named the file. I don't need the .java at the end, but I do need the hello world written out exactly the way the file is named. More things that make a difference. Also, uppercase and lowercase will make a difference. If I capitalize any part of this public or this class, it will make the compiler not compile the application. I will tell you that and demonstrate it to you in just a few minutes once I get through coding this. This open braces means I'm going to begin constructing my class. Okay? And the closing braces means that I have completed constructing my class. Every opening brace has to have a closing brace. More things that the compiler needs. Now, indentation is really for you. You don't have to indent, but it makes it substantially easier to understand the code if you have indented properly. If you're not indenting, you're actually making room for errors because you won't be able to read the code very clearly. Now, public static void main. Main is the place that the Java code will look for as a starting point. Main is a special keyword reserved method in every class. If there's a main method, that class will invoke the main method. And main has to be lowercase. Public means, and I didn't even spell this right, see that? Public. Public means it's visible to everything. Static means it's going to return, and I'm going to talk to you about this later, a static void var, which means that the main method is not going to return any values. Some of the other options can be, it's going to return a char, a character, a string, an int, a double, and so on. The character or the data type that this main method is going to return. I'm not returning anything normally. The main method is the starting point of a Java class. With many exceptions to the rule, if the main method isn't there, it just means that the Java class will be used as a reference. We'll get to that later. In the main method, I'm going to do string, which is in an array form, and args. Now here's the thing. These left and right braces means that I'm going to have an array of strings that are going to be possibly passed into this main method. 0 or more variables that will have a special parameter value of args. Args is also a reserved keyword. This is one of those things that you don't want to use. It's one of those things that you don't want to use, as another name in your application. For example, don't name your program args.java. It's rather confusing. Don't name your program string.java. Don't name anything main. Don't name things void. Don't name things static and public and class. There are many other reserved keywords that will make all the difference in the world in a functioning application and one that, well, doesn't work. So I've got this entrance method main that I'm going to pass 0 or more strings to that are going to be stored in an array. This left brace, right brace means that I'm going to pass in 0 or more elements at the command line when I run HelloWorld. And they're going to be stored in an array and inside of an array called args. Args of 0, args of 1, args of 2, and so on will contain elements that I may pass in. So again, I've got myself a method. Every class has to have code blocks. Code blocks are placed inside of these braces. Okay? So I've got opening and closing braces for my class, HelloWorld, and I've got opening and closing braces for my main method, which is my entry point into this class. No main method, no entry point. Basically, the code will compile just fine. It just won't do anything. Okay, so then I'm going to do system out print line. That ln stands for line, and I'm going to call it. I'm just going to put in hello world from Java, like that. Okay, let me explain this. So system right here is a Java internal library that is calling the Java system features, if you will, and is going to execute the out portion or out method of the system library. And there are many things associated with out or output. There's also system in for input, and then print line. basically it's going to print a line that says hello world from Java. I put this in the parentheses and I put it in quotes. Parentheses means that print line is a method that accepts a parameter. And that parameter is a string. In my case, it's a string. And string parameters have to be in quotes. That's why I've got opening and closing quotes. These spaces are perfectly fine because this is nothing more than a literal string. Doesn't mean anything other than the fact that the print line method is going to display this message. Then I close the parentheses to clearly specify that my parameter has ended. Semicolon ends the Java line of code. Now notice public class hello world does not have a semicolon. This is a declaration, not a statement. This right here, public static void main, is also a declaration of the initiation of the main method. It is also not a statement. This is a statement. Every statement in Java, many of them will be multi-line, are going to end with a semicolon. Uppercase, lowercase makes all the difference in the world. Wrong case, wrong syntax, and bad code, things don't work, and you beat your head against the wall. Okay? Because it's very easy to do. So I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go over to my command prompt. And I'm going to go to the, I'm going to save this file and do File, Save. I'm going to go to the CD class Java more code. And now look at what this thing says. I saved it in Notepad, and Notepad added this TXT extension at the end. Yuck. Can't have a TXT extension. I did this intentionally because I wanted to show you some of the mistakes that you can make very easily and get frustrated out of your mind for hours trying to figure out why something so simple won't work. Let me show you what this looks like, in a Windows Explorer. So here's Java, more code. Look right here. Wouldn't this confuse you? Take a look. Wouldn't this confuse you right here? Hello World Java. You don't see the TXT here. It says text document though. That's your indicator in Windows. Text document in Windows, it should say Java, Java document or Java, file, because it shouldn't understand what it is. So what I can do here in Windows is I can actually click on View, and I can start changing around my options of my my preview pane or my detail pane. So I can actually change around how and what I want to display. Okay. So this right here tells me that this is a text document, right? And also, there's a navigation pane. I can change icons, obviously no big deal. Here's sorting by. Now look what this says right here, file name extensions. You see that? I checked that box, and now I see the TXT. See it? Take that out, which is what it is by default. I don't want that TXT. Ugh. I'm going to right-click over here. I'm just going to double-click in here. Oops, no. I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to do a rename right there. And I'm going to remove that TXT. It's going to say, are you sure? Say, yep, I am sure. I just changed the name. See, it says Java file now? Right? Which is what I want it to say. When I do a dir now I've got Hello World Java. I'm not done yet, okay? Java. Right now, this is nothing more than a text file. Java has to be able to compile this. So here's what we do to compile it. Java C for Java compiler. And then we just type hello world.java and we press enter. Now notice how it came back with nothing. I typed this, I pressed enter. No messages. No messages is good. Basically, no news is good news is really what I'm getting at. And it created this file called helloworld.class. This is a compiled version, binary version, compiled version of my Java code that I just wrote. Look at something. HelloWorld.java is 138 bytes. You see that on the bottom right-hand corner here? And the compiled version, which is the .class, is 436 bytes. Yeah, it takes up more space. Don't try to edit this class file, because if you do, it's not going to let you. If you edit this file, for example, in Notepad, it's not going to make any sense. So if I did Notepad HelloWorld.class, this is the gibberish that comes up. Garbage. Okay? I do see, of course, things that the Java compiler did, but it doesn't make heads or tails to me. So don't manipulate this file. The fact that I ran Java-C, this right here, the fact that I ran Java-C, nothing happened, and it created the HelloWorld.class file is good news. Now, to run this, I can type Java and then type Hello World without any extension, and it brings me back the execution of the code, Hello World from Java. Very simple. I haven't done anything strange, and I've written out some very, very simple pieces of code, and I have compiled it. Now let me show you a few ways, few simple ways, that we can mess this up. Let me open up HelloWorld.java, and I'm going to change this print line into a capital P. All right? There is no method called print line with a capital P. I'm going to save this. I'm going to go to the command prompt, and I'm going to run Java-C Hello World. Look what it says. It's pointing at that. It's telling me it cannot find symbol. Well, it's telling me that in line 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the blank line, line 6. Okay? That in line 6, right over here, it doesn't know what this is. It says symbol, method, print line, which has string, it doesn't know what it is. It says variable out of type print string. And all I did is I changed this from lowercase to uppercase. Messed it up. So I'm going to save this again, go back, compile it, and everything is okay. Let me go back over here. Let's start to remove this braces. See this curly brace right here? I just removed it, right? And I'm going to save the file. Now that means I declared a main method, but I never said that I've got code that I'm going to be writing underneath it. So save this, go over here, compile it right here, and there's the error. It goes, hey, what? Says, Hello World Java at line 3. There's an error with a semicolon. It says this expected a semicolon. See the confusion? And then it said public static void main expected a semicolon, and it's pointing you to where it expected the semicolon. So if you didn't know any better, and it says Hello World Java line 10, there's an error in the class, and it says there's a closing braces where there isn't one. That's the second error. So the first error is it thinks that semicolon is expected here because it thinks since you open this must be code, and this must be a statement, not a declaration. So you need to put in a semicolon to end the statement. Well, let's say that you didn't know any better, right? And you put a semicolon right here. Right? And then you're paying attention to this, and you're saying the second error is that you have this braces, the curly braces here. And you look over here and you go, oh, I don't need the curly braces. And you take this curly brace out. So now you have two statements. By the way, this is not going to work. You have two statements, and this is really not even a statement. But you're telling yourself that the compiler is telling you to put a semicolon over here and to remove the curly braces. So let's save this, compile it again, after doing what the compiler said, look what it says now. It goes, yeah, I don't know what this is. Right? It's basically saying, hey, it expected an identifier. Right? And then it says illegal start of type, and then it goes gobbledygook. And you end up getting in all because you don't have your curly braces in the right place. Okay? All because you don't have your curly braces in the right place, Java starts to lead you down the wrong path. So I placed the curly braces in the right place, put the semicolon where it is, and I'm going to save this, go back, clear the screen, and compile this code. Everything is okay again. Right? Everything is okay again. So, and then I can just type the word Java, hello world, not class. I can do a .java, or I can remove the .java altogether, and it should return me a response. Do you have any questions on anything that I've talked about thus far? I know I discuss very basic things, but very important things. Without understanding these basic concepts, you will have a lot of trouble understanding some of the more important things as you progress. Any questions I can help answer about anything I have done so far before I keep moving? You can just type it in the questions section. None yet, Karina. Okay. Anyone else? No? Okay. So I saved this and I executed this. The next thing that I need to do is I need to show you something about declaring variables in Java. All right. Tell you something about declaring variables in Java. Now, I am going to create something very simple, and I'm going to store some variables in there, and I'm going to show you how that's done. So right over here, I can say int number. Now this is the data type. This is the name of the variable. Integer is a data type. The name of the variable is number. And then I can assign a value to it right there. And then I can put in string as the data type. First name, Rafiq. Now the semicolon has to come into play. No semicolon means that it is not a statement. Until you put in a semicolon, it's not a statement. So that's string. Boolean is a true false. And I can say Boolean, and I can specify coder, and I can say true. Now uppercase, lowercase makes a difference. Normally, I like to label my variables in lowercase, the way I started here with first name, and then I place a camel casing where necessary if I need to have a complete var. So Boolean is a true-false value, string, well, is a string value, and then int is a numeric value. Then I can say over here, I can say that char middle initial equals R. That's my middle initial. Okay. And then I can say another double. Double is another data type, a numeric data type. And I can say salary. And this will hold 9876.50.55 semicolon. Okay. Then I can say, let me copy and paste this right here. And I can say over here, first name plus is a first name, Rafiq, makes dollar, and then I can say plus salary, and close that. Okay. And let's see how this works so far. Let me expand this as well. Plus means to concatenate. Okay. Plus means to concatenate. Salary is a numeric data type, double, that I have concatenated, added to two string data types. First name will be, it should say Rafiq, and I put a space, and it'll say Rafiq makes, and put a space, and then a dollar sign followed by the salary. So let's see how this does. I'm going to do File, Save, go over here, save this thing, or compile it rather, and it says, you got two quotations here. Char is a character. The quotations are for strings. The single tick marks are for single characters. Run this again. And it compiled. Just that little thing. Quotes for more than one letter, and with or without spaces. When you have for a string, char is only going to have a tick mark for a single letter or a single char or single character. Then I'm going to do Java Hello World, and it says, oh, look at what it says. It says could not find or load main class hello world.java. Now this is kind of interesting. Okay? This is kind of interesting because I'm doing this double and char and boolean and stuff, and it's telling me that it can't find this main class. You're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Well, the thing is, there's a specific variable called class path. Echo class path. Now, I've got class path pointing at this directory and is pointing at class Java, not my class Java more code. Okay? It needs to see where my compiled code is. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to my advanced variables here in advanced system settings. And in advanced system settings, I'm going to move over to environment variables, go down to class path. Oops, class path. Edit it right here. And here, I'm going to add to this more code and backslash semicolon, and make sure that I've got the right folder. More code, more code. Okay, okay, done. Okay, done. Now I have to exit. The reason I need to exit is because if I echo class path right now, notice it hasn't changed. Right? It did not add more code to this list. So I can just exit over here, open it up again, and now when I opened it up again, take a look, class Java, oops, class Java, don't know how to type, more code, okay, and I'm going to do echo class path. Okay, so now I've got more code right here as part of my class path. Let's see what happens now when I do Java Hello World. Now it says couldn't find, come on, Hello World from Java. So wait a minute. So if I do type Hello World Java, I've got this other stuff. So why did it run that? Well, let me see. I'm going to do Java C, Hello World Java, compile that, and I'm going to run Hello World Java. and it says, oh, what did I say, type? It says hello world from Java. What's going on here? Well, the reason for this is because when I do echo class path, I have this C class Java, and then I have C class Java more code. When I do Java hello world, it looks for hello world in this path first, and then it looks for it in here. Well, guess what? Inside of Java, inside of C class Java, I've got hello world class. So let me remove that. I'm going to do rename hello world class to hello world old. More code, Java, hello world. Aha! Let me point this out to you again. The reason I want to point this out to you clearly about what I did is if you don't have these parameters, environment variables in place, you're going to be banging your head against the wall in trying to solve the simplest of problems, or in some cases, a non-issue. Let me go back over here to the Java folder. I have Hello World Java and Hello World Old. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename Hello World Old to Hello World class, like that. Now I have Hello World Java and Hello World class in the C class Java folder. When I do echo class path, this class path, again, is a environment variable that the Java development kit will read. We'll look at this folder first for the specified program, for the specified object. It's going to look in this folder first, and then it will look over here. Even if I'm sitting in this folder, it will execute what's in here first, which can make you go insane, especially if this class path is really long. So that's another reason you want to not duplicate your class libraries. Another reason why you want your ducks in a row, for lack of a better word. So if I go to more class, more code, and I do hello world, now notice in C class Java, I've got hello world class and hello world Java. And in C class Java more code, I've got hello world class and hello world Java. And in my class path, it's going to look at class Java first. So no matter how much I try to run the code, Java hello world, it's running this from up here, from right here in the C class Java. That's where this is coming from. This can make you go insane because you're thinking the whole time, hey, I wrote this code with the dollar amounts and my name and all this, and why is it reading this and where is it coming from? Look at your class path, determine what the class path is and if there's another file with the same exact name. First, that's a bad idea. Second, you shouldn't be doing that. You should have something in place that helps you along proper coding standards to avoid things just like this. Right? So let me do this. I'm going to go back up to Java, rename Hello World class to Hello World Old, and I'm going to change directory to more code, and I'm going to do Java Hello World, and now I'm looking at the right piece of code, Hello World Java. Notice now this is displaying what I want it to display.